Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game with over 100 cards, and 99% of those cards are bad. However, these bad cards still make it into players' Edison format decks every single day. Join me as I dive deep into the abyss of bad card design and put these unloved pieces of cardboard to the ultimate test. 3 duels against random strangers on the internet. At the end of each episode, we'll reveal each card's place on the cursed tech tier list, ranking them from almost competitive to downright unplayable trash. Will we stumble upon a broken combo, invent a new deck, or will we just go insane trying to win a duel using Frog the Jam? You will just have to wait and find out. This is Cursed Tech. Hello and welcome to Cursed Tech. In this episode, we are looking at a trap card. A very conditional, questionable trap card, DNA Surgery. The primary interaction that makes DNA Surgery even slightly playable involves 2 of the most popular cards in Edison format. Cyber Dragon and Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon can fusion summon using Cyber Dragon and any number of machine monsters from either side of the field. You don't have to use polymerization. What this means is most Edison format decks include 2 Cyber Dragons in their side deck, and if they know they're facing against a machine deck, they can side in the Cyber Dragon and contact fuse away your opponent's entire field. But what if every deck you played against was a machine deck? That is what DNA Surgery does. It turns all monsters on the field into machines, and so you can contact fuse away your opponent's entire field whenever you want, as long as you have a Cyber Dragon, which is a very interesting interaction. Non-destruction, non-targeting removal that is very powerful. And as a result, the Edison format Discord has been working for a while to break DNA Surgery. And they've come up with a list that looks something like this. Now, when I look at this list, I see one major problem. There's way too many good cards. Look at the amount of good cards in this deck. Trap cards, Fortress. On this channel, no good cards. I don't want to see any good cards in anything. And as a result, I've taken it upon myself to break DNA Surgery, as in finding more funny, strange things to do with it in a way that is not any better. So my initial deck list, which thankfully is not going to be the focus of this video, is a mill strategy. I was going to play mill. I realized the horror that would ensue, and I stopped myself. But I'm still going to talk about the interaction because it is very funny. So this deck involved the broken frog that is responsible for 90% of the degeneracy in Edison format, as well as the phallic zombie bone boy himself, soul-absorbing Bone Tower.
When we bone, she absorbing my tower. No. When we bone, she absorbing my soul through my tower.
If you have Substitute on the field, one other monster, soul-absorbing Bone Tower, and DNA Surgery, you can use DNA Surgery to call Zombie, and then you Substitute to go through every single frog in your deck. But just kidding, the frogs are zombies now. So you mill your opponent to death. While that's funny, while that is very funny, and honestly kind of easy to do, it's a lot easier than you'd expect. For every main channel video, I have a members only live commentary match. Maybe I'll do the Substitute Bone Tower version in that, so become a member if you want to see that. But what I've decided to do in this video today is something that I find a lot funnier, and it involves a card that you might have heard of, Machine Duplication. It reads, select one machine monster with an attack of 500 or less on your side of the field. You can special summon up to 2 cards with the same name from your deck. Notice that the monsters that you summon from the deck do not have to be machines. Only the monster that you target on the field has to be a machine. This means that if we have DNA Surgery up and we call machines and we activate Machine Duplication, we can summon 2 copies of any monster in the game as long as that monster has 500 or less attack. Surely, out of all of the targets in the game with 500 or less attack, there will be good targets to summon. Surely there will be anything decent to summon 2 copies out of the deck, right? Out of the entire Edison format card pool, these are the only 2 monsters that do anything, basically, that I could find. A semi-decent OTK and an advantage engine. First, activate DNA Surgery. Then summon Injection Fairy Lily. Then activate Machine Duplication, summoning 2 more Injection Fairy Lilies from the deck. Boom, 10,200 attack. You also have to pay 6,000 life points. And so that's your OTK, number 1. Number 2, Advantage Engine. Step 1, activate DNA Surgery. Step 2, summon 3 Hump Lacooda. Step 3, activate Machine Duplication. Summon 2 more of those 3 humps from the deck. Activate the effect. Tribute 2, draw 3 cards. There you go. That's your advantage. Good enough. Good enough for this channel, at least. I really wish there was something more broken we can do, but this is the best we've got. This is really the best we've got. So, yeah, here is the deck list. Behold its glory. You see, we've got the cat to search the trap card, and search the trap card is in very thin quotes as well, because search as in put it on top of the deck. We also have Cyber Dragon's younger brother that becomes him on the field, so we can contact fuse with him. And then we also have Electric Virus, which is just change of heart if every monster your opponent controls is machines, and we're going to turn those monsters into machines. This deck lives and dies by DNA Surgery, so let's watch some duels of this deck dying a lot. Check it out.
This first game, we are up against Neospatian Heroes, and we are going first. Our opening hand looks... Are you... 2-3 Hump Lacoodas? Okay, our opening hand looks very bad, but we can activate Machine Duplication on the Cyber Valley to get 2 more Cyber Valleys out from the deck. Activate one of the Cyber Valley's effect to banish 2 monsters and draw 2 cards. We draw into a DNA Surgery and the second Injection Fairy Lily. You've got to be kidding me. We set the DNA Surgery and pass the turn. My opponent is going to normal summon a Neos Alias, go into the battle phase and attack into our Cyber Valley. We can use Cyber Valley's first effect to banish itself in the battle phase and draw a card. Then my opponent is going to set 2 back row and pass the turn. In the end phase, we're going to activate DNA Surgery, and then in the standby phase, my opponent is going to activate Trap Dust Shoot. They look at probably one of the craziest Trap Dust Shoot hands of all time. They work past the confusion and manage to choose the correct target, Electric Virus, which we could steal their alias and tribute for Caius. So they take the Electric Virus, and then we are going to normal summon our Proto Cyber Dragon, and this guy is Cyber Dragon while on the field. We're going to contact fuse away their machine Neos Alias into a 2,000 attack Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. We go into the battle phase, and they have Mirror Force. No problem. We have no other plays and a handful of bricks, so things are looking good. Things are looking very good. They're going to normal summon Armageddon Knight, use its effect to send a cross-border from their deck to the graveyard. That cross-border is going to activate to let them add a Neospatian monster from their deck to their hand. They then go into the battle phase and attack us for 1,400 damage. We take that damage, and then we draw for turn a Proto Cyber Dragon, but we'll save that for a little bit later. We're just going to normal summon an Injection Fairy Lily, pay 2,000 life points to make her go up to 3,400 attack, and then look at our hand. We have 2-3 Hump Lacoodas. We just end the turn. My opponent draws for turn. They're then going to banish a Light and a Dark to summon a Chaos Sorcerer. Then going to normal summon a Cross Border, which I have never seen anyone use this card's first effect. And then they also get to add with the Cross Border. And they activate the effect of Dark Panther to copy our Injection Fairy Lily, which lets this card gain 3,000 attack during the battle phase. So this card, when it attacks, can go up to 4,000. That is the craziest Dark Panther combo I have ever seen. They banished our Injection Fairy Lily. We take 4,000, but they have no back row, so this Proto Cyber Dragon is going to go hard. We contact Fuse for our own big monster, Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon at 3,000 attack. Attack them directly, set this Legacy of Yada, and pass the turn. 1,000 life points to 600 life points. What will happen? My opponent is then going to set a monster, pass their turn, and we can just activate Legacy of Yada Garasu, tribute summon this Caius, target itself to win the game. You gotta love a Caius target itself for game. Alright, it is time for game number 2, and we are playing against a rather interesting deck. It is a Zeta Reticulant. How do you even say that, guy? Zeta Reticulant. We're playing against Zeta Reticulant. And this is probably the most unfortunate game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I have ever played. My hand looks insane. We've got DNA Surgery, Jar of Greed, Machine Duplication, Starlight Road, set the full house. They are then going to normal summon an Armageddon Knight. This will send a Zeta Reticulant from their deck to their graveyard. They're then going to activate Upstart Goblin. We will gain 1,000 life points. Always good when you have Injection Fairy Lily in your deck. Then they're going to set one back row and pass the turn. In the end phase, we are going to activate Jar of Greed to draw a card. Then we're going to draw for turn. It is a Cyber Valley. We're going to normal summon that Cyber Valley and attempt to activate Machine Duplication. And my opponent has this Karma Cut, which can banish the target, so Machine Duplication will resolve without effect, I believe. A very good 2-for-2 by my opponent. But not only that, when Karma Cut banishes a monster I control, this card gives him a free token, which in his instance is kind of unfortunate because that gives my Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon an extra 1,000 attack. We're going to activate DNA Surgery, special summon Cyber Dragon. You have 2 machines on your side of the field, so I can make a contact fused Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. You go into the battle phase, attack for 3,000, and then pass our turn. My opponent is going to activate Heavy Storm, but thankfully we have the Starlight Road. They're then going to activate Brain Control, tribute summon Caius. They summoned they had Brain Caius, Heavy Storm. Just the absolute perfect ideal comeback play that also gives them a 500 attack token just to rub it in our face. They get in for 2,900 damage, set a back row, and then pass the turn. We need to draw something good. And Proto Cyber Dragon is insane. We normal summon the Proto Cyber Dragon, and we attempt to contact Fuse. Just kidding. He also drew MSC. The series of unfortunate events that transpired in this game were just incredible. I guess we can attack over that monster, set the DNA Surgery, and pass the turn. My opponent's then going to go into the battle phase, attack over our Proto Cyber Dragon, and then pass the turn. We draw the 3 Hump Lacooda, which is just hilarious. We're then going to set that monster and then pass the turn. My opponent attacks into the 3 Hump Lacooda. If we drew like maybe a Cyber Valley, any tribute monster, we can steal his monster and then get advantage off of it. But at this point, we can just get in for 24. And he just has Gores also. Just to rub it in my face. He also has Gores. So that was a good game. Let's see what we can do in this game. And our hand looks so good. We set a few back row, set a card, and then pass the turn. My opponent is going to normal summon Armageddon Knight again, send the Zeta Reticulant again, attack into our monster, and it is the Cat of Ill Omen. We get to put a DNA Surgery on top of our deck. Then we're going to activate Legacy of Yada Garasu to draw a card, and then we draw for turn. Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? We draw the second 3 Hump Lacooda for turn. Machine Duplication can only summon from the deck, not from the hand. And this card does nothing when there's 2 of it. You have to have 3. It has 3 humps. That's the entire point of the card. And to rub it in my face, I just scooped there. But to rub it in my face, he had Deep Prison. I could have drawn 3 if I just didn't draw this stupid camel for turn.
And now for the moment you have all been waiting for, the Cursed Tech tier list. This deck, how do I even put this into words? this deck is brilliant. I think using machine duplication was the best decision a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck builder has ever made, and I am really just forging the innovative path of Edison format. 3 Hump Lacooda. No one believed in that card. No one believed in 3 Hump Lacooda. But now, everyone will. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters. This deck is kind of like the Dekoichi deck from the very first episode of Cursed Tech. But it's slightly worse because in that deck, you get to draw 4. This deck only gets to draw 3. DNA Surgery is a difficult card to build a deck around because by itself, it does basically nothing. Unless you're playing against dragons, so try to play against a lot of dragons. You need these 2-3 card combos to try and create a game state that goes in your favor. And when one piece of disruption destroys that entire plan, you're going to have some major problems. Therefore, there's only one place to put this deck, and it is next to my ex-lover, Frog the Jam, again. I don't know why so many decks I build go into the small possibility of doing anything, but it probably has nothing to do with me as a deck builder, and yeah, it could not be my fault in any way, shape, or form. That is going to conclude today's episode, but before I go, extra special shout out to Fiery Dance for creating this sick new logo for the series. If any of you have any logo, art, thumbnail, things you want to get done, Fiery Dance is the person to go to. Check them out, links in the description. And for now, I might have to go make a members only video using that horrendous mill deck. So wish me luck, and I don't even gotta say, you guys already know who this is.